mate. This is the wrong order. I will punch you so hard in your face. Yo guys, it is your boy Niran here, and welcome to yet another episode of FTW. This of course is the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. Now what's been kicking off in the world this week? Honestly, not even that much. For me, I might even just leave it there, to be honest with you. So when we just wrap this one up, football is on a detour, yeah? It took a wrong exit on the sat-nav and now it's just on a little holiday abroad. Who am I kidding? England fell at the final hurdle to a great Italy side in the culmination of Euro 2020. I spoke in depth about the game in the last video, which you can check out down in the description below. Don't worry about me though, because I was actually present at the Italy-Spain game, because I'm actually Italian as well, so I'm still winning. I'm built different, you know, so this is a more accurate description of how I'm actually feeling. The GoFundMe page is on the way. Now listen, son, what you gonna do when we concede? Get out my Nintendo DS. For goodness sake, man, no. You're gonna cry. Dad, I'm gonna be honest, I prefer tennis. I don't. By the way, I'm glad the German kid is alright because the abuse was vile, but I would have rather seen the money go to children in poverty, but that's just me. To be honest, it's our own fault we've lost in the first place. We've taunted Italy. They clearly haven't forgiven us for our pizza topping choices. We tempted fate with this guy getting a tattoo of us winning the tournament before the final had even happened.
A lot of people have said you should get it covered up, but no, I might just change the date and
you could change the date in a couple of years.
Put Euro 2024 on there.
Might need to get that one altered because no calzones were shoved up anybody's arse.
You can stick your calzone up your ass.
We've conceded versus a player that security doesn't even recognise is a footballer. And we've lost a Euro 2020 final to one who has Madagascar characters tattooed on his arm. So yeah, it's high tempo. When I get on the ball, I've got to move it, move it. Get the fuck out of my changing room. I guess Denmark goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel was right all along.
What would it mean to you guys to stop it coming home?
Has it ever been home?
The most beautiful story for me, though, Ciro Immobile's miraculous recovery from being paralysed earlier on in the tournament to winning the entire thing. He's looking very mobile now. Is it really too late for Vin Diesel to come through and save the day via a comeback?
Family.
On a level, though, shouts to Italy and congratulations to them for winning Euro 2020. They were the best team in the competition when it comes to performance, so there's no real arguments here. We got some luck along the way, let's be real, but England fought valiantly, and this young, adventurous squad, as well as Gareth Southgate, do need to be praised, and they can be proud for making our summers. But really and truly, I just wanted to see Bukayo Saka and his magical unicorn go all of the way. Now, son, before you go, I just want to make sure, do you definitely have your lunchbox? Speaking of Saka, Bukayo, if you're listening, you're definitely not listening. Do not let these brain-dead, cheese-string-for-minds racists get to you. You have done this nation proud, not only with your performances during the group stages and the knockouts, but with the courage to even want to step up with the final penalty of the final of the Euros. They're just upset because our Euros tally still matches how many GCSEs they have.
14, 0.
Again, I spoke about it a lot more in a previous video, but the abuse that Saka, Sancho and Rashford received was vile. Surely now it is actually apparent why these players have been kneeling. I found the likes of Priti Patel and Boris Johnson speaking out against the racism extremely hypocritical, given them actively encouraging people to boo and disrespect the players' decision to stand up against racism. You've encouraged this sort of negativity to an anti-racism gesture, and then as said by Aston Villa centre-back Tyrone Mings, you can't then flip to the other side of the coin when that thing actually happens. The Sun acting as if they're trying to help as well. You called Raheem Sterling out for going to a pound shop about 6 years ago. The violence and abuse was shocking. It shows that really some people in this nation weren't ready to win a Euros. But thankfully a vast majority more have come together to show that maybe we are. Celebrating the reinstatement of Marcus Rashford's mural in Manchester and sending over brilliant messages to him. I'm not crying. It's hay fever. I'm telling you now. Harry Maguire is over the whole situation, however, tweeting out this advert for Taco Bell at the end of the competition. Only thing meatier than his head Incapabilities. God, you didn't let me finish off the sentence. At least Scotland, Ireland and Wales can stop buying new nations football kits now and return to being beaten by Wi-Fi passwords. But nah, for real, the rivalries between the home nations have been jokes, and the tournament overall has been phenomenal. Who could forget Patrick Schick's halfway line goal and the reaction to it? A remote control car bringing out the balls. This ref is genuinely huge. This needs investigating. Cristiano Ronaldo single-handedly ending Coca-Cola. The final day of Group F. France's fall versus Switzerland, and Saka becoming an actual footballer. Attacking and vibes between Croatia and Spain. The ups and downs of Alvaro Morata, and the tragedy and near fairy tale of Denmark. Overall, it has been unbelievable and a pleasure to witness. Over on the other side of the globe, and there is some more football going on, as Lionel Messi won his first major international trophy, guiding Argentina to Copa America glory with a 1-0 win over Brazil. Leo himself was gassed to FaceTime his family from the pitch. Match winner Angel Di Maria was getting wholesome with those closest to him, and Neymar was ready to greet his family as well. The poor lad, first of all, he was manhandled by Nicolas Otamendi. He's dealing with the likes of Richarlison and Firmino in attack. Bombs everywhere, like him and his sister's Snapchat streaks. One fan in the US told his non-footballing friend that Fred was actually Neymar.
Woo! Hey, that's my right there, man. Come on. Star boy. Let's go.
The bigger joke here would be telling me that Fred is actually Brazilian. The man is from Equatorial Guinea. There's no other explanation. Argentina fans, loving life. But Messi fans in India were also feeling themselves. It's mad what Leo can do when he's not having to carry two teams at the same time. He even turned Thiago into a side table. Now look at these Euro stats, alright? When it comes to goals, assists, key passes, chances created, it's pretty spread out across the board. Now look at them for Copa America. No wonder he's playing well. He's a free agent. He's basically auditioning. He's out here playing like his girlfriend's come to watch the game. And he's got fire in his belly now. Yerry Mina, now rather infamously, celebrated with this dance after scoring a penalty in a shootout versus Uruguay. And after missing his penalty in the semi-final against Argentina, Lionel Messi shouted this to him.
Impresionante.
A ver ahora.
Mira.
This carries on the theme of the whole tournament. It's just been violence and vibes. Even Man City forward Gabriel Jesus is getting in on the act. Skip it up and down. But Leo, I mean, look, he's had an unbelievable tournament, and I'm extremely happy for him that he's actually won something with Argentina. I feel like that was the one tiny missing piece of his elite jigsaw puzzle, and he's even likely to win the Ballon d'Or after his performance at Copa America. Well, unless Jorginho somehow wins it. How is this guy in the running? Over in Germany and Erling, I know the rest of the Bundesliga are farmers, but this is taking things a little bit too seriously. This is his first encounter with an animal since he installed Mozilla Firefox. In Italy, and Jose Mourinho has been welcomed at AS Roma, and he's being his usual self.
There are at least 5 different radio stations that actually talk about Roma all day long.
Quotes from his first press conference include suggesting how a disaster for him is an incredible achievement for any other manager. He finished by calling Dele Alli a crackhead, and then proceeded to bring Wally with him from Pixar. I don't know why he's chilling here. How odd is this though? Like, Spurs are a banter club, Roma are not a small club, but they don't feel like Jose Mourinho clubs. Can't wait to see him holding up a scarf for Tranmere Rovers in 10 years. Elsewhere, and Rafa Benitez is the new Everton manager. We got our first look at him wearing Everton clothing. He looks like he's being held hostage, or he's on community service or something. Meanwhile, an interview on the grid ahead of the Austrian Grand Prix, Natalie Pinkham got hold of Timo Werner and perhaps didn't fully understand his role in football.
We've got Timo Werner here, Chelsea and Germany's goalkeeper. How are you?
I mean, he does stop goals from happening on a regular basis, so... Meanwhile, Arsenal and their pre-season is off to an absolutely beautiful start against Hibs. I tell you what, this'll be class content for the new Amazon series, Arsenal, All or Nothing. Yes, that is right. There is a new series of that documentary following the other side of North London.
You know I'm not happy, fam, because come on, blood. I want this league, blood. Last night I chatted to my mum, yeah? My mum's Wenger in. Is she mad?
This is going to be the greatest TV ever. You're gonna see the scenes of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang after a winner versus Carlisle United.
You want to take me away?
Behind the scenes of Ben White's £40 million rejected bid, and directors coming in with a new £40 million and one bid, and chaos in the changing room when they're only down 8-1 to Chelsea. It's gonna be class, especially for a club with less stability than a Conor McGregor angle. Speaking of shows, and one Brazilian fan asked what the name of the documentary revolving around Pele was called. Oh, that's crazy. You know what? I must have evaded my mind. There was beef in Russia between Zenit St. Petersburg and Spartak Moscow on Twitter, as after highlighting a huge victory for Zenit, Spartak came back and told them that they'd finished behind them in the league that season anyway, to which Zenit reminded Spartak that happened many a year ago, and then Spartak came back with the amount of titles they've won. I mean, this is one more tweet away from another world war. Over in the MLS, and Minnesota United player Hassani Dotson proposed to his girlfriend after the game this week. Thankfully, she said yes, by the way. Could you imagine getting beaten 2-1 and then that happened? So it's not all been impressive for the Americans.
And he's offsetting the balance of any midfielder. Oh, Andrew Farrell, it's a disaster for him, and it's a goal!
Now, Barcelona players Ousmane Dembele and Antoine Griezmann have been in serious controversy this week after a video from last year emerged of them on Snapchat appearing to devalue Asian tech workers. Antoine Griezmann needed help getting PES installed onto a games console in a hotel room. Now, reports emerged that Ousmane called them ugly faces and then proceeded to take the mick out of their language as well. He's come out and apologized and suggested that he would just say this sort of stuff in private, but it happened to be public, which is not an apology. A lot of people are saying it's been misinterpreted, but equally I'm seeing French reporters talk about it, and Konami have dropped Antoine Griezmann. I don't feel like French media outlets would discuss it if it was not what he'd actually said when translated back to French. At the very least, Ousmane Dembele is a complete knobhead. But on top of that, racism or prejudice towards Asian people genuinely needs to be talked about more, because it isn't brought up enough. You know, we had the Heung-min Son drama against Manchester United, and I feel like it didn't get the media traction that it should have done. Anyway, as I said, we've got to be consistent in calling out prejudice, no matter what community it attempts to bring down. Hello all, and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty.
Opa! Vamos lá, olha a Rafinha, camisa 10. Rafinha.
And that concludes The Beautiful Game. Closer to home, and a man has been jailed for 16 months for outsourcing illegal streams of Premier League fixtures. Oh, yeah, mate, so what you in for? Yeah, so basically I'm in for 27 counts of murder, 2 counts of manslaughter, which really, in my humble opinion, should have been murder. And then afterwards I set the house on fire using only 3 of my fingers. Yes, same, man, honestly, it was a bit of a mad. Martin Braithwaite has been announced as the second richest player of Barcelona by Forbes this week. And that's because he owns a real estate business worth 250 million euros. No wonder he's sacked off being good for Barcelona. There's his side project. Over in Sweden, and we've got this unbelievable miss in the final minute of a game. And staying on the Swedish vibe, AIK fans took flares and incredible energy to go and watch their players play this week at training. They were doing this at the training ground. In Brazil, an Atletico Mineiro may well have put me off pizza forever. I know you've created your badge, but for what is this? Sevilla signed Serbian goalkeeper Marko Dimitrovic, and with that, they now have 2 goalkeepers at the club at the same time who both scored in La Liga last season.
Volta pro segundo tempo. Renato apreensivo na beira do campo.
Beautiful weather we're having. Get out of the way, man. Over at Flamengo, and this attacker has genuinely sent a defender to the shops and back. In Ghana, and James Bissu may well have scored a potential Puskás Award winner. And at Swindon, during a pre-season friendly, player B has hit a cross-cum shot. Now, okay, pause. Now, what are we doing here? I mean, you could argue it was a pretty good finish if it's gone in. In a game between Eswatini and Lesotho now, we have the lows because both of these teams probably have catastrophic footballing capabilities, followed by the highs created by such lows. I love African football. In Russia, and we've got perhaps one of the greatest saves of all time. And continuing with the theme of goalkeepers, perhaps not one of the greatest saves of all time.
Maidana rebota en Portillo. Y esa pelota salió del área. Mire la boca que le quedó a Bieler con lo justo. Se equivocó, Mastrolea. ¡Gol!
But now it is time for still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now. This is the segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football. There's not much in the way of video clips going around at the moment. I assume most of the seasons have ended in the Sunday League world. We do have a phenomenal developing story about Croydon United, a team based in South London, born out of a Football Manager save. A group of guys got together after someone created a team called Croydon United and put them into Football Manager. Complete with kits and a badge made by a graphic designer they knew, they decided to get together one day as a group of 12 and try and make this team real. They got themselves into a WhatsApp group, sent off emails to the amateur FA, and after a few months of back and forth and creating an official kit, they have got a team together with players, have played friendlies, and a team has gone from being a Football Manager save to a real football club. We love to see it. On to the weird stuff though now. In Estonia, and the first round of the Estonian Cup has taken place, and it includes scorelines such as 7-4 between Kovile and Young FC. Who names a football club Young FC? Along with that, we've also had a 10-1 and a 15-0. I don't know where this next clip is from, but what I do know is it involves a referee and a player just starting to scrap. The referee fully gets into it, but he's a little bit outnumbered here. And finally, over in Chile, a story that technically happened a few months ago, but has only just come to prominence now. Listen, the Euros are over. Cut me some slack, alright? We had perhaps a record for the longest ever penalty. Now, the game was between Curicó Unido and Universidad Católica, and as a penalty is being discussed by VAR officials, a fire causes a total blackout in the stadium, meaning the game has to be suspended and inevitably abandoned. The match was then rescheduled for 27 days later, with the penalty being the first mandatory part of the game. Now, all this time passes, and the guy who'd stepped up ready to take the initial penalty has now transferred to a new team, meaning that the team with the penalty were permitted an extra substitution. What a mess! But that is going to be it for this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.